Years ago, I wrote an autobiography. It's called The Motion of Light and Water. And I'm going to read two very short sections from this. It's about something that happened to me, starting when I was 11 years old at summer camp, and then skipping to when I was 17 in New York City. So from The Motion of Light and Water. Music was a hugely important ribbon weaving through our lives at Camp Woodland. That summer I played the violin in the camp orchestra for a production of Herbert Hofrich's cantata, We Come from the City, about a bunch of young city people who arrive in the Catskills to work on the Downsville Dam. That same year, in the back of a pickup truck with a tape recorder, Norman Kasdan and half a dozen other campers, I rode through the countryside to collect songs and stories from the local folk shortly to be dispossessed from their neat homes. The leafy light over the gray porches and white-framed screen doors already suggesting the water that would soon cover their sights to a depth of 40 feet. Wrapped through the evening, gathered in the stone amphitheater behind the recreation hall, we sat forward on our rocky seats while down on the concrete platform, a log fire burning at its edge, Pete Seeger flailed out the Cumberland Mountain Bear Chase on his banjo. At the final twanging chord, he flung his fingers down the strings so hard that two of his stainless finger picks flew off to spin glittering among the first rows of listeners. At the same moment, a catch of water in the damp cement beneath the fire, burning an hour now, exploded like a gun crack, knocking over a log and sending cement bits clicking and furious sparks up 25 feet, swirling above Pete, turned to gape upward now, above the stage, above the trees, and into indigo evening. We all gasped, then applauded, and laughed. I knew I had come to a magic place. My second year, at the 4th of July celebration on the ski slope down the hill across the Trestle Bridge over the rocky and frothing Esopus River, I watched our new music counselor, Bob DeCormier, stand before the counselors' chorus, crowded together with their music on the performance platform's planks. Knees together, thumbs and forefingers touching, Bob began to conduct out over campers and townspeople from Ellensville and Kingston and Bearsville and Woodstock and Phoenicia who'd come together for America's birthday. They sang, "The heart needs a brain, and the brain needs a heart, and the whole is greater than any one part." That same summer, under his direction, the Campers Chorus premiered DeCormier's profound and lyric cantata about the life and sayings of Sojourner Truth. And in my third year, I sang and danced the lead in another Hofrich cantata, Boney Quillen, based on a local legend about a logger who ate his girlfriend's flowers when she went off with another man, who tricked his bosses and danced out the nights and carried his axe through the Catskill mornings. That summer, my favorite counselor was a slender, light-tan woman named Mary. She had a mannish voice, and when we were assigned our parts in the chorus, she was pronounced, to some surprise, a tenor rather than soprano or alto. She sat next to me during chorus rehearsals all summer. Mary usually came to the Wednesday night social dances in jeans and short sleeves. When somebody made some comment and she finally consented to wear a skirt, I remember her as we stood by the wooden wall telling me, "I have a feeling I look very funny in this thing." She did. My family knew Mary's family, and on visiting day, when Mom and Dad came up, my father asked her surprised, "Why in the world did you cut off all your hair like that, young lady?" Dr. Lily Mary answered, "Oh, the last time I was at the barber's, I fell asleep in the chair. When I woke, he had just gone on cutting, and it was like this." It was a rehearsed answer for an untoward question, but both my parents looked sad. Still, Mary listened patiently again and again while we sat at the old upright in Brooklyn College to my faltering, incomplete attempts that August to write my own cantata, and was even encouraging, which was more, I'm afraid, than the attempts deserved. All through those summers, professional musicians like Seeger and Louise Beavers came to make us music, and local musicians like Grant Richards sang to us about Bessie the heifer, and aging Mike Todd played the harmonica and clacked his rhythmic rattling spoons in frantic chatter, stamping his boots while we listened fascinated. Then, in my fourth year, suddenly I was in the older Woodland work camp further down the hill. Now, all the time, I was in and out of a building just up across the road, which I'd only glimpsed in previous years, called, beautifully and mystically, Butterfly Cottage.